This is All Sports All the Time, episode number 15. We are back once again. We're super close to football season, and so we have brought on yet another sportscaster from Full Sail University. I would say a football guy. We're going to try to have some more football-based guests here in the coming episodes. We've got Cole Eckardt. I believe I pronounced your last name right?
Yeah.
To a good start. Could you introduce yourself to everyone, Cole, where you're from, your favorite teams, how you came to Full Sail, all the good background stuff?
Let's see. I'm Cole Eckardt. I'm from Seattle, so all my sports teams are Seattle. Got the Mariners, Seahawks, Sounders, Storm, no Supersonics, but they'll be back soon. I came to Full Sail I just kind of Googled sportscasting schools, and they were one of the top ones that came up. That's about it. Other than that, nothing.
How in the world was it totally fine before?
Who's back? I hear him now.
Now, as soon as we hit record,
Yeah.
you've heard it. Schools.
Yeah, no, I just searched the top sportscasting schools and it just pulled up Full Sail. And that's basically just how I found it.
That is such like a guy thing to do. You know what I mean? Yeah, seriously. I'm the same way. Like if I don't know something, I just Google it, and whenever the top search result is, it's like, yeah, that's just what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that is crazy that you picked your college based off of that. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. So why'd you think that, like, okay, sportscasting is the route I want to go?
So it was actually funny. So I was having like a conversation with one of my friends, and I was always that kid who just like memorized random sports stuff, just like to talk people's ear off about it. And so I was talking with one of my friends, and he was like, "You just need to shut up." I was like, "Okay, well he was like, I forget what he said like specifically, but he was like, if you have all this just stuff stuck in your head, he was like, you should just put a camera in front of yourself and just start talking." He said it joking. But I walked away and I was like, I could really do that. And it was literally just that.
Huh. Kind of like the rudest good advice.
Yeah. No, exactly.
Interesting. That's kind of what happened with us with starting this podcast. It was a long time ago. I know for sure that Parker's dad was the one who first recommended that we have a podcast. It was probably very similar, where we were just like hanging out, talking about something with sports. And he was like, you guys should really just like record yourselves talking about this. So,
Not a bad idea.
and here we are. How long? 4 years later, 180
Still talking.
and here you are. Full Sail being on camera. Well, either that or we just won't quit talking. One of the two. Yeah. And then, now Cole's here at Full Sail. After, what was it about Full Sail? So, like, you did the search. Full Sail's got that good SEO. They come up first. What was it after you, like, clicked on the link and were looking through that, like, really convinced you?
The first thing that like really stood out to me was the Dan Patrick. Like I saw his name on the title. I was like, what? Because I didn't know that he had started a school. But it was like the only degree that I found out there. It was like specifically for sportscasting. All the other ones were like journalism and communications, and so that was really the first thing that kind of like drew my eyes to it, was the name and the fact that it was like specifically sport.
That checks out, because I think, again, similar with me, the sportscasting program specifically markets itself well separately from Full Sail, so that you can see like, oh, there is a sportscasting program here. It's not just like, they're part of Full Sail, but it's the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting at Full Sail. So yeah, they do a good job separating that. And I would say, Dan Patrick is a decent name to have on your program.
Oh yeah, more yeah. No, even but like even here at Full Sail, I mean, you mentioned how they like market the sports separately. Even here at Full Sail, we seem like we're completely like separate. Like we seem very independent compared to a lot of the other degree programs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there. People in my class have described us as the band kids of Full Sail. It's like in high school, kids are kind of like their own thing. That's at Full Sail. Sportscasters are like the band kids to everyone else.
Yeah, that sounds.
I think that's pretty cool. Dan Patrick, by the way, was born in 1957.
You know, off the top of your head, that's crazy.
Yeah, he's worked at ESPN for almost as long as I've been alive. 18 years at ESPN. So yeah, I would say that's a pretty good name. Yeah, it's a pretty good name to have attached to a college degree. You know, when you graduate from school, you can say, "I graduated from the Dan Patrick Shows," or like School of Sportscasting. You know what I mean? So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And you get to graduate in half the time, and it's specialized. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That's like it's like a win-win-win for like everybody. You know what I mean? And the boring classes, the stuff that doesn't matter, like like the math, like like you don't have to take the gen eds like serious. Well, you do have to take them, but it's just like light work online.
Well, yeah, we're not stuck in them for a whole semester or longer. It's a single month and then we're done with it.
Yeah.
I should have asked Ethan 2 weeks ago. Real missed opportunity here. I don't know if the name Dan Patrick is actually on our diplomas that we get.
I think it is, but I'm not entirely sure.
If it is, okay, I got Dan Patrick's name on my diploma.
On my diploma, yeah, that is a flag.
Yeah, it is. That's a flex in the sporting world.
Exactly.
I would say it's probably not a flex if like you're going for like, talking internationally about like language courses and stuff. People probably wouldn't even know who Dan Patrick is. But
I guess plan on going for those.
Well, yeah, but in the sporting world, in like any sort of like commentary world, that is just such a flex, which is exactly what you guys are going for. So,
yeah, they're gonna know who Dan Patrick is.
Yeah, like imagine you go to another college and it's like this random guy who donated like $2 billion back in like the 1920s, and you have him on your diploma. Like nobody cares about that guy.
No.
Yeah, it's a great point, Parker. Great point. Actually, I think the first day that I met Cole was also the first day that I met Dan Patrick. I think that they were at I had seen Dan Patrick other times. He had been at campus, but we went to this just like seminar for kids who were touring Full Sail, kids who were thinking about being in the sportscasting program, and Dan and our course director, Gus, were speaking. And afterwards, some of us who were already in the program went down, like shook Dan's hand and said hi and whatnot. So met Cole that day and met Dan same time.
Yeah, but I was better than me. I was the better person than that.
I mean, yeah.
Yep.
There we go. I have talked to Cole much more than Dan Patrick. Dan Patrick just shook my hand and said, nice to meet you. Oh, he didn't even call me Owen. He just said, oh. I don't know if that's good or bad. So yeah, definitely. So, see, even the expression "oh" can be like good or bad, depending on the inflection.
Yeah.
So we may never know. But yeah.
I mean, so it would have been, "Oh, you're in my program," or it could have been, "Oh, you're in my program." I mean,
yeah, very true.
We'll have to have Dan on.
Wait, my question is, why Dan Patrick graduated from Eastern Kentucky University? He didn't even go to his own school. Why did these guys support his own program?
I don't think Full Sail exists when Dan Patrick. What year did he graduate?
1974.
Yeah, Full Sail became school. So they weren't even in existence.
That makes sense, though. That makes sense. I was going to say, he's got to show his own program some love. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, before his name was on it, the program wasn't a thing.
also true. It's not like there was a sportscasting program pre-Dampat. So
That's true. Yeah. I guess he would have had to establish the college when he was in college in order for him to go to that college.
which would have wild.
Yeah, if someone does that, then they're just on a...
Yeah, that's like Michael Jordan compared to LeBron, just like another level.
All right, he weaves this into every single thing.
That was an extremely random...
Yeah, the unnecessary bringing up of Michael Jordan was unwarranted. Parker.
Sorry, I just had to make sure.
No, I don't think you're sorry. I don't believe you. So Cole, you said that when you were younger, I completely related to that. This has been like the whole episode so far, just me being like, yeah, Cole's similar. When I was younger, yeah, you initially are just like learning stuff, and then as you get older, you start to kind of like take that information and want to have your own opinions and give them to people. For me, that was the form of like, baseball was the sport I was the most into at first. So I had a whiteboard in my room, and I would like write out all my predictions for all the teams' records that year, and like who's going to make the playoffs and win the World Series and all that. And sometimes the first year I did it, I nailed it. And I was like, I'm so good at this. And then none of my next like 4 years of picks were right. So what has been in like your history of sports fandom, your best sports take that you absolutely nailed, and your worst sports take that you just look so dumb and cringe at looking back on?
Oh God. I guess oh gosh, that's a question. Oh, here we go. After the Falcons, blew their Super Bowl, I should say, I was convinced that they were going to be back within the next 2 years. I thought they had too good of a roster to not go back. So I just kind of, and obviously that didn't happen.
He'll come back. Oh, he's back. He's back.
As soon as you see something, as soon as Parker says something, it comes back.
But no, I thought the Falcons would be back within a couple years, and that obviously did not pan out. I also thought that Todd Gurley was going to be like the best running back for 5 years straight. He had that one amazing year.
That one's fair. I think a lot of us thought that.
Yeah, he could spell.
Yeah, I don't even know where he is right now.
I don't think he's in the league.
Not
He
playing.
was barely in last year. And
my best take is, I guess, I mean, I'm not sure it's a great take because, like, I feel like a lot of people saw it, but I always thought that Patrick Mahomes was going to be great when I was watching him in college. Like, I was looking, I was like, if he can find himself some weapons when he goes to the NFL, I always thought he was going to be. I didn't think he was going to be what he is, but I thought it would at least be one of the superstar quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. That's a good take because I didn't even like give him a second thought until he was actually doing something like in the league.
Yeah,
so he was actually playing well. Then I was like, oh man, this guy's good, but I didn't like see it beforehand. So I think that's a good take.
absolutely, that's definitely an impressive take because a lot of people were like, "What are the Chiefs doing? They have Alex Smith. Like, come on, guys, you're fine at quarterback." So yeah, that was definitely a good take.
I didn't think they were going to get rid of Smith. I thought that they were going to keep him for a little bit longer before they I thought they were going to like slowly make the transition to Patrick rather than just get rid of Smith but I mean it obviously worked out for them. So I mean,
yeah, they're smart. They're a lot smarter than me.
I mean,
That's good.
But anyway, Cole, next question. What are the goals for you, whether it's in sportscasting, like what do you want, like where do you want to be in like 5-10 years? Like what are your goals for the industry?
I think my end goal of my career is I want to be a host on Good Morning on NFL Network. But that's not going to happen, with it. I mean, college student doesn't get that sort of job right away. So 5 to 10 years, I think would maybe be I mean, after I graduate, I want to have an on-camera job. So I think in like 5 years, I want to be like a solid on-camera person and has a prominent role in wherever I am, no matter if it's news or, some other sports station or some other, somewhere where I can show my skills on the camera, to move my way up to NFL Network.
Mm-hmm. So like some sort of role where you're in front of the camera talking about sports in some capacity, that you can leverage to then like keep moving up and getting better roles.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I could just imagine rolling out of bed, going to church on a Sunday morning, and then right after service, turning on the TV, and there my man Cole is. You know what I mean?
Hey, I'll take that. Hey, that would be pretty sweet.
What is it about? I agree with you. Good Morning Football is a great show. What would you say is like, what makes Good Morning Football special? Why is it such a good show?
For me, I guess I just feel like a lot of like the sports talk shows are like too serious. I mean, like it's sports. I mean, they're on the field playing games, and we're in a desk wearing suits and sitting up proper with our. So I guess I like Good Morning Football because like they play games and they have fun with it, but they're knowledgeable and they know what they're talking about, and but like I mean they wear jerseys and like leather jackets of teams, and they make fun of guys, and they have that segment of like the toughest and the weakest runs or something, right? Just like stuff like that.
I actually did one of my assignments, I think for Stinton on that. We had to do something with like breaking down a sportscaster and a segment they do, and I did Kyle Brandt and Angry Runs.
That sounds fun. We didn't have to do that, Stinton. That sounds fun.
I'm not certain it was for Stinton, but it was a while ago, so much so that I don't remember the exact class. But yeah, Kyle Brandt, Angry Runs is
just as long as you remember not to use cliche. I think that's to be fine.
I would never do us to use a cliche. No, not once.
Not once.
Yeah.
That one.
They're very good at making their knowledge entertaining. Yeah, they're not giving you boring information, but you can tell they still know what they're talking about, which is really good. Would you say that's what's most appealing to you about sportscasting, is just being able to have your own voice and in talking about sports and being able to make it fun for people?
Yeah. I mean, I think that kind of like I said, I think that like a lot of sports shows take it too seriously. I think a lot of guys, I mean, we're talking about sports. It's it's a fun thing. But yeah, no, I mean that's sort of what I want to do. I want to like build my knowledge and like be that guy that like, when you look at it, you're like, oh, he knows what he's talking about. But I also want to be that guy who people look at and you're like, oh, he looks like he'd be a fun person to just hang out.
Right. Yeah, I like that. Would you be kind of like a Stephen A. Smith type deal where you just throw out the most outlandish take?
I couldn't. I couldn't do that one.
Stephen A. Smith I think nobody can be Stephen A. Smith.
I was going to say, no offense to anyone at Full Sail, nobody at Full Sail is Stephen A. Smith.
There's a guy in my class that wants to get the next Stephen A. Smith. And he says like Stephen A. Smith stuff like these wild takes during class, and he gets shut down automatically by everybody, our professors, all the other. It's actually quite fun.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a Max Kellerman. The game is on the line.
All right. Well, Kellerman got laid off, so exactly. I don't know.
That was the start of his decline.
Yeah. And Stephen A. Smith at least has he was a journalist for 20 years before doing the whole First Take ESPN thing. So he's at least got that. Definitely nobody can go straight to being Stephen A. Smith, because then you're just
Oh yeah, no.
being crazy. So even if somebody's gonna try to be similar to Stephen A. Smith, they gotta have that like 10 to 20 years of being a credible person, and then maybe they can go to that. But yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be another Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that goes without saying. I mean, you really just got to grab the bull by its horns and think outside the box. You know what I mean?
Wow, that cliches. I don't know if Sidney would like that.
You definitely would.
You double Parker, grab the bull by the horns and think outside the box.
I mean, at the end of the day, like, there's no I in seam.
Could you, Parker, just I'll put a 45-second timer on here. Could you just give Cole some advice for the future? Like you're like Cole's mentor, or like just someone in the industry he's working up to, and just use as many cliches as you can in giving him advice and encouraging him about the future.
Okay.
All right. Size. This is why I love having Parker as a co-host, because I could not do this, but Parker excels at just on the spot.
See, if you did this and Stinton never saw this, you'd be a dead.
I might have to send this clip to him. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, Cole. So, my advice for you is that, in life, all glitter isn't gold. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be challenges. But here's the thing, though. Every cloud has its silver lining. You can kiss and make up as much as you want. The world's not going to end. You just got to read between the lines. There's going to be certain scenarios where you might wake up on the wrong side of the bed in the morning.
Preach.
And, people might be laughing, but they're not laughing, at you. They're laughing with you. Mm-hmm. And only time will tell if you're right or if other people are right. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's just going to come down to, your one opportunity to seize everything you ever wanted in one moment. I started saying Eminem at the end.
Yeah, bro, I was about to say, was that it? Did you just like boost it to say it to start quoting?
Kind of, yeah. It's everything you ever wanted.
That was so good, man. I think I should have been counting. Maybe I'll go back. That's for sure getting cut into a reel. Maybe I'll just like clip back like 1, 2, 3, 4. You for sure got double digits in. That was great.
Oh man.
We never gave backstory on Mike Stidden is an instructor at Full Sail. Nobody else knows about it. Mike Stidden's an instructor at Full Sail University. He teaches broadcast writing. And in writing your scripts, one of the things he really hits over the head is do not use cliches, because a lot of us, it's very easy to just put cliches in there and you just kind of breeze over them. You don't notice. And so like in class, we'll do these activities. Sometimes we're like, you got like 10 minutes, write a script on this, and you do it. And then you read them out loud in class. And by the time we got to the 3rd and 4th week, everyone was on it with the cliches, where it wouldn't just be Stidden reacting if you said a cliche. Our whole class was like, oh, cliche. So he did a very good job of getting our minds in tune with it.
We had a guy in my class who, I think it was like one of the week 3 activities. We're like on the spot, like, hey, you have 10 minutes to write this, whatever topic you gave. And we counted him. There was one of the guys in my class, his entire script. The only things that weren't cliches were his filler words, like and, if, but. Every other thing was a cliche.
So basically what Parker did.
Yeah, Steve was losing his mind.
That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, how do you do it and still have a topic relevant to sports? That's impressive. That's actually really impressive.
Yeah, but he must have been trying to, right? Like, how do you have that many cliches?
Unintentional. It definitely sounded like he was, but I'm not. Yeah, I was sitting there listening to Google read, and I was like, oh gosh, we're gonna have a long conversation after this one.
Oh, like he wasn't trying to do it.
Wow. That's crazy. I'm sure Stinton got it fixed. It was only week 3. We trust Stinton to fix those, but that is almost more impressive, I would say. Like impressively wrong.
Impressively, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Would you be able to give us, Cole, your best story from your time so far at Full Sail?
Oh boy. This is sort of a reoccurring story for me. So we were in the studio one day, and you know me, Tyreek and Conrad, we're like the studio rats, right? Like we're the things that you kick out and they come back.
The 3 musketeers of the studio.
Yeah. So we're standing there one day, and I forget who it was, but we were talking about this girl, and Tyreek mentioned, he was like, yeah, but we're going to get married. And as he said that, he put his arm around me to like emphasize like he was getting married to this girl. But as he said that, Gus walked out. So the entire conversation that we had about the girl, Gus knew none of the context and just walked out to, we're going to get married one day, with Tyreek putting his arm on her. And so Gus walked over and was like, when did this happen? Which was, I mean, that was in its own right. That instance in its own right, we had like a 20-minute conversation with Gus of like him asking how the proposal was, who proposed, when the wedding is, when like all that stuff that just came out of Tyreek putting his arm around. So it's a recurring thing because every time me and Tyreek are seen back in the studio together, Gus will mention it. We were there last night filming in the studio, and someone, I forget who, was like, hey, is anybody here in a serious relationship? And afterwards, Gus walked over to me and he was like, hey, are you guys having problems? Because I didn't see you raise your hand. Tyreek was right there. Are you guys seeking help for this? So they're like, Gus. It was a good 2 or 3 months ago that joke was that he walked out to Tyreek's arm around me. And every single time we're in the studio since then, he's brought it up of, hey, how are you guys doing? How's the living together going? Was the wedding great? Hey, I didn't get a wedding invitation. When's it coming? Like, just like says these little side notes. They just keep coming.
Does he still think
No, he's for sure playing along.
Oh no, he's for sure just at this point he's just annoying us, just because it makes us laugh and he enjoys it. No,
that is an awesome story. Holy cow, I've never heard that one before. No, I've never heard anyone tell that story. Kind of disappointed. Never heard that one.
And Tyreek sees this episode and gives you his side of it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, when we have Tyreek on, which is definitely going to happen, we're definitely asking him about this. That should be our lead. Like, welcome to the show, Tyreek. Introduces himself. So, how's it going with Cole? Be like, what? Yeah. And if people have episodes, that's their fault.
It's gotten to the point where if I show up to the studio and Tyreek is not there, Gus will ask about that. Like, he'll ask, he's like, hey, are you guys having problems? I was like, me and who? He was like, I don't see Tyreek here. Is there like, you're driving separately now? Or like, is there like something where you guys don't want to be seen together sort of thing?
The drama never ends.
That's incredible. I don't know for sure, but in my opinion, I'm going to say it. I think that's the best story we've gotten from any of our guests so far. We've asked everyone for their best Full Sail story. I think you're at the top of the leaderboard. That's the story to beat.
I think so.
Yeah. Now I need you guys to have Tyreek on, and I need to hear his side of when you bring up hey, so I heard this thing happened. How's it going for you?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. Not to call out Tyreek, but to kind of call out Tyreek. To go back to the conversation you were having about this girl. Tyreek's not. Had he talked to this girl? What was the conversation of like? Because Tyreek's thing, he likes to just kind of like wave at people as they walk by the studio. Was it somebody that was walking past the studio?
No, it wasn't. I wish it was. Yeah, no, Tyreek does do that a lot. Like anytime anybody comes by that's not in our program, he'll stop whatever he's doing and just stare at it. Do this.
Yeah, it's weird. I
don't get it. He's got this like
British princess. So
kind of. Sure. Yeah. As long as it's not freaking people out, it's funny. I think he's probably gotten like a couple weird looks, but generally, I don't think people are too put off by it. So,
no, I don't.
It hasn't gotten him in trouble yet.
No, it hasn't. It might, but not so far.
At some point, it probably somebody is gonna be like, "I'm not coming here. That was weird." But whatever.
Yesterday when we were there, we had a group of it had to have been 20 or 30 people. And Tyreek did every single one of them. He was sitting there waiting forever as they all passed, just sitting there like this.
We would have to have Tyreek on in one of the sooner episodes so that he can respond to the as Tyreek without letting it.
I feel like we're having some drama now, which I like. It's not drama, but it's like good, follow on stuff. You know what I mean? Where we can see have multiple different sides of the story type deal.
Yeah, it would be such a good episode if we had Cole, Conrad, and Tyreek on one episode. I think we could legitimately Parker, you and I, if Luke's with us, we could be like, this is all sports all the time. Take it away, guys. And I think that Cole, Tyreek, and Conrad could have a full-blown podcast without us.
We wouldn't. See, now I'm curious to see that podcast because, I'm not sure how that would go.
It would be incredibly entertaining.
Oh no, I have no doubt about that. I mean, if we were simply the three of us, if we were simply just filmed in the studio with our conversations in there alone, would we be able to put on YouTube and just be, we've had some of the strangest conversations, which oddly enough, Gus has walked in on a majority of them.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. We've talked about that before. Me and Tyreek, I think me and somebody else, we've talked about we really need to just set up a microphone in the studio and have it be a podcast.
Yep. Yeah.
Episodes of just studio conference.
Random studio time podcast would be one of the most entertaining.
Yes, absolutely. It'd be so good. So I think, we need to make.
And then you
and Chris the best supposed to be the main host.
Flip the best.
Exactly. Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's the beginning. It's a little intro music. The nice. Yeah. And then you hear the warm voice of Chris Mouton. Welcome back, everyone. This is the full studio conversations podcast. I'm your host, Chris Mouton.
So you know what he's episode, Chris?
That would be. I'm sure he would be all in on it. He would love to add some his plate. More work.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Definitely, Chris isn't busy enough.
More stuff cluttering up the studio. He'd love that too.
Yes. Yeah. We'll get back on topic after this, but a quick story that I have from random studio conversations was one of them. We were intentionally, we knew we were in it. We were not doing work in the studio. We were hanging out waiting for a show to start. And there were a bunch of us in there, I think 7 or 8. And we were just intentionally talking about random stuff. And Tyreek was asking, how do you remember things? He was asking something about memory. And he was like, how does your brain only remember certain things without other things? And I looked it up. And the hippocampus is the part of your brain that helps with memory or something. I was like, oh, guys, it's called the hippopotamus. Just being dumb. The hippopotamus is where you remember it. And for some reason, Chris thought it was just the dumbest thing. He was like, really? Hippopotamus? The hippocampus? I was like, yes, Chris, I know. I was being silly. He did not think it was funny at all. The hippocampus. The hippopotamus. So then we called it the hippopotamus 8 more times.
Yeah, no, I think I was there for that one.
You were, because that was the day Sydney was braiding your hair in the studio.
Yep. Yeah, that sounds about right.
You were not doing
Sydney. Yeah, yeah. No, whenever the studio is just boring, Sydney braids my hair.
Yeah.
And that's. But yeah, no, I was about to say, because we had a super long conversation about just like random stuff about the brain.
Yeah, we talked about the brain. We talked about the average lifespan of a person per state. We talked the average height of a person per state. It was interesting. Speaking of your hair, another random thing. Parker, I feel like you would look good if you grew your hair out to Cole's length. Just completely random, but I feel like you would look good with Cole's type of hair style.
I don't think I could rock it. I'm not gonna lie, my hair is like stick straight. Like this thing does not like. It's like Indiana cornfield type straight. You know, like it just doesn't have any curl to it. So I feel like if I grew it out, you know what I mean, it would just kind of look like, I don't know, it would look like Grady Dick, but if he grows his hair out longer, it just like, I don't know, I don't think it would look like Cole's. Cole's got the flow, you know what I mean? He's got the curls, he's got the flow.
Some more wave to it. I'll give you that. Yeah.
I mean, yeah. I mean, look at Conrad. I mean, Conrad, you could do what he does with his hair.
Yeah. For those of you who don't know,
Conrad has like
long, luscious hair.
Yeah.
I'll probably Conrad. I searched up Conrad and what was that? Conrad's Butcher Shop.
Yes, that's him. Yeah.
What's his last name?
Yep. We don't. Conrad Volsch. We don't have to talk. Nobody knows who Conrad is, other than people go to. We don't have to spend much time on that. We'll have him on eventually.
I'm not sure if Google is going to get you more.
I got it. Then.
But yeah, Conrad's great. Hair is great.
Okay. Yeah, I could do this.
Yeah. There you go.
Did you actually fight?
Yeah,
Throw past your shoulders. Oh, yes, sir.
I think
Conrad. They listen to this episode, they're going to be like, "What the heck? Well, how? Why?"
Yeah, I could do that.
Yeah, that's. There you go. All right, so just grow it down past your shoulders, and then you'll be good. There you go. The Grady Dick comparison is that's a good one. I think that's accurate. You would kind of. So that's fair.
We're both white. Yeah, and we can both.
There.
Yeah,
we both.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So that's fair. I'll give you that. I think it's time for the most important part of the podcast, specifically for this episode. We had our fantasy draft for our main fantasy league. It's the only one I'm doing this year, actually.
Oh wow!
So, but our like main most important fantasy football league with our friends. We just had the draft 4 hours ago as of the recording of this. So these are fresh, hot off the presses teams. I've sent Cole screenshots.
Yes.
Dropped out. I've sent him team 1 and team 2. So while he looks over those, for the people listening, I'll just read off the rosters so that some of you can decide for yourselves. Team 1 is Lamar Jackson, Tony Pollard, Ramondre Stevenson, Devontae Adams, DJ Moore, Darren Waller, David Montgomery. We don't really care about the defense and kicker. It doesn't matter. Brandon Ayuk, Elijah Moore, Rashad Penny, Tyler Algier, I believe is how you pronounce his name, Michael Gallup, Zay Jones, and Tank Bigsby. That is team 1. And then team 2 is Joe Burrow, Nick Chubb, Joe Mixon, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, George Kittle, J.K. Dobbins, Michael Thomas, Jordan Addison, Samaje Perine, Tyler Boyd, Kenneth Gainwell, Mingo and Rice. I forget, was it Rashid Rice? Is that his first name? Pretty sure it's Rashid. I can double check it though. Probably should have known all the players on
Jonathan Mingo.
Jonathan Mingo, and then it is Rashid. Oh, Rashid, not Rashid.
Rashid without the D.
You were one letter.
For everyone listening, it's a little hard to retain all of those in your head. So I'd recommend watching on YouTube because we'll throw up the screenshots of the team, and you guys can, in the comments, decide who you think is the best. But the most important opinion right now is Cole's, because he's going to judge, or before the season starts, between me and Parker, who has the better lineup.
What's Parker? Who are you?
Hey, it's very important to Parker.
All right, so I'm gonna start with giving you guys probably the answer you don't want, which is that I think it all depends. So,
all right, boring answer.
Okay, yes. Hang on, let me get into that. So, as of right now, I think Team 1 is better.
Okay.
However, that is barring the Garrett Wilson being hurt, Joe Burrow being hurt, and George Kittle being hurt. I think if those three guys are healthy, I'm going with Team 2. But as of right now...
All right. Okay. You did a very good job balancing that out so that neither of us can be upset with you. That was excellently done, Cole.
Well, but Cole, if you had to pick a team, just on shit, back him into a corner. Whose team do you think has the most potential to win the championship?
Ooh. That was mean, Parker.
All right, I think it's Team 1 because of the bench.
Wow. Let's go.
No.
Officially better than yours now, Parker, because Cole said so.
Okay, wait, Cole. Let me plead my case, okay?
All right, let's hear it. Whatever.
All right, Michael Thomas, he's going to have a bounce back season. His QB,
right? His last 2 years were his bounce back season.
Right, but look at who his QB was his last 2 years. This year, he's got Derek Carr. Derek Carr
doesn't matter if he doesn't play.
Derek Carr throws the ball. He throws the ball very far, okay? Michael Thomas, you thought this, but here.
Michael Thomas's new quarterback is Derek Carr, who didn't make the playoffs with Davante Adams.
Yeah, but Michael Thomas is going to have a Davante Adams type season, all right? He's on my bench. That's how good my team is. And I have the number 1 wide receiver on the Kansas City.
But wait a second.
He's not the wide receiver. You keep saying that about...
If Derek Carr didn't get it done with Davante Adams, why would you use Davante Adams as your example for Michael Thomas?
Because Davante Adams had a good fantasy season. He had a great fantasy season.
I get Davante is on my fantasy team.
Exactly.
Well, but this year, Michael Thomas is the new Davante Adams. I have the number 1 wide receiver on the Kansas City Chiefs on my bench, Rashid Rice.
False.
No, he's Jonathan Mingo, okay? He bounced off this one tackle in preseason. He's just a star.
In when?
Cool.
Well, okay. And also I have Samaje Perine, who Javonte Williams isn't going to play at all this year. You know, you think he's coming back from his ACL. I'm telling you, the timeline is just going to be thrown out of whack. He's not going to be playing at all. So you have a wide receiver, you have a running back 1 right there off the bench for the Denver Broncos for the whole season.
That was, I think that was a terrible argument.
Wow. Dude, really thinks my team is better.
Parker, you're hating on my team. You just got to watch him. Wait, you're hating on him now, but Jonathan Mingo is going to be a wide receiver 1 by the end of the year. Rashid Rice.
I will text Owen to make sure I stay updated on how your team is doing throughout the fantasy season.
Good.
And this is the same thing as last year, Cole. I mean, everybody doubted my team. They said I was going to finish last. Like it's a crap.
Didn't you not win the championship last year, though? I thought that we already established that Owen did.
Yes, but I went on an 11-game win streak. You know, I had potential, and he got lucky. So you combine those factors.
Lots of people have potential. I mean, it sounds like Owen kind of fulfilled his potential, and then you're trying again.
I'm so glad we brought Cole on. This is awesome. Getting up on Parker.
All right, well, you might be right, Cole, but not this year. They'll prove you wrong this year.
Okay.
All right.
Like-
yeah,
like-
that's yeah.
Cole,
That's why getting updates now.
there you go. Do you see what I was talking about before we started recording, Cole? About how Parker is just uber confident in his picks.
Yeah.
Every year.
No,
He's,
yeah.
yeah.
I definitely see that now.
I respect the confidence, Parker. I wish I had that confidence in anything I did.
No,
And you guys, wait, I already. Thank you. I already made some trades as well, so you better watch out.
What?
I mean, they got declined, but I still made them.
Oh,
I
okay.
mean, I still reached out.
You offered them.
Yeah, I made trades. They just didn't work out.
So how many trades are you going to make this year? Like, because I mean, based on last year, you kind of sold with your trade. So, well, I think this year you need to make smarter trades.
Yeah, I traded away Tony Pollard, Terry McLaurin, and
Saquon.
no, not Saquon. It was the running back for the Seattle Seahawks.
Kenneth Walker for him.
No, Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny. I traded those three for Derrick Henry
Oh, in that one trade. Okay.
in that one trade, and Tony Pollard ended up being like the wide receiver one the rest of the year. Was better than Derrick Henry was.
No, Tony Pollard came in clutch fantasy last.
I know, and I
I
traded.
mean, Pollard also on my team this year. Just saying.
Yeah, I was telling Owen last year on fantasy, I ended up with like 2 entirely stacked squads, and I played myself in my league championship.
Wait, you were in the league twice?
Yeah. Because we had like a bunch of people that were like gonna enter, and like at the last second backed out. So I just entered 2 teams because I was like, we need spots to fill, and I ended up on one team. I'm telling Owen, one of my teams had Josh Allen and Travis Kelce and Tony Pollard and Derrick Henry, and like I had a stacked squad on that team. My other team, that team also had Tyreek Hill. My other team was Stephon Diggs, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, like I had Chris McCaffrey. I think at one point, I think I traded in midseason for Devontae Adams and someone else. Anyway, well, like both my teams were stacked, so I ran through my league and ended up playing myself in the championship.
Wow. Did you have first, second, third place prizes?
I had first, second, and then I think I forget who had third.
I would hope there wasn't money. It wasn't like any league that people put money into. Because if you put money in and then some guy ends up winning first and second, that wouldn't sit well with people.
Oh man. Yeah, I want to join like a high stakes league. Like one of my coworkers is in a $500 buy-in league, and there's 12 teams. And
I don't know about that.
It's crazy how hard they go. They go like, I mean, it's just absolutely wild.
Part of me agrees with you, but the other part of me is like, what if I don't win the league? Then I just lose.
Well, you're probably pretty right. You just have to bank on being better than everybody. You know what I mean? Which I believe you'd win. You'd probably no. When it comes to fantasy, I know for a fact. You know,
Okay.
I've just been at the top of my game the past 3 years. And like I'm hitting my prime, you know. I'm like Todd Gurley before he fell off.
You want to compare yourself to Todd Gurley?
I'm about to say that's a great comparison is made.
No, I honestly though, like fantasy, I feel like it's half skill, half luck. I've only won 1 out of the 5 years we've had our league. I got second last year, obviously, and I technically won the 1 year because it wasn't my team, but I drafted that team.
That was a complicated one. That's like an asterisk championship in our league history.
Team.
Yeah, so you can either give me 1 with a possible 2 or a 2 with an asterisk.
I'll just stick with giving you one. That's fine. I mean,
Wait, how did you draft a team but not end up winning? Did you draft someone else's team for them?
I drafted someone else's team. Yeah.
he was like the advisor. They were the manager of the team, but during the draft, he was like the advisor, the assistant. Yeah. And
I set their lineup every week, did everything, basically.
I got none of the benefit.
Yeah, exactly. But anyway,
So, I mean, to his point, he was sort of credit. I mean, he built the team, he just didn't manage the team.
wasn't my name. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. That's life lesson, kids. Always get your name in the agreement.
When you buy a house, make sure.
Yeah, no, I guess since he didn't, he doesn't get anything.
Risk you're on. So, yeah, we got about 5 minutes left, which is just enough time to bring in a sports topic on the podcast called All Sports All the Time. If I'm being honest, when we went back, if I could go back to when we started the podcast, I don't know if I would name it All Sports All the Time. But at this point, it's just kind of like an ironic name because we talk about sports probably like 50%.
Which is a lot more than a lot of other topics.
But that is true. It is the majority topic we talk about. But most sports, most of the time, is not a good name. So,
Not really.
all the time. Anyway, we've got 2 Eagles fans and a Seahawks fan here. So, Cole, I would just like to hear your thoughts, as an NFL fan, as a Seahawks fan, on just the outlook of the NFC coming into this season. Aaron Rodgers is gone. Tom Brady is gone. Drew Brees has been. It's just the NFC is not strong as a conference this year, and it could end up being really interesting, or it could end up just being there's only 2 good teams.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, most of the good, like really great quarterbacks in the league are in the AFC. In the AFC, you got Herbert, Mahomes, now Rodgers, Jackson. I mean, most of the quarterback names are in the AFC. The only like quarterback name that really sticks out in the NFC right now, I think, is Jalen Hurts. Yeah, I gave you your.
The Seahawks probably have the second best quarterback in the NFC in Geno Smith, which played last year.
Yeah. No, so I'll take that.
No.
I think
Who's there, Cards? Oh man, I can list about 3 guys. Then maybe Dak. No, Dak's worse. Dak's way worse.
No, I think the NFC is going to come down to like. I mean, last year it was the Eagles and 49, which I still think that if Purdy never gotten hurt, that game would have been really different. But I think both those teams are going to be right there again this year. I actually believe in the Seahawks' chances. Like, I do. I think that we have a decent shot because, I mean, we have some young guys. Geno's coming back. Geno just had a great year. We got Jackson Smith and Jigba to add to our wide receiving core, which I think Seattle's wide receiving core isn't given enough credit. But, I mean, other than the Niners and the Eagles, of like the top teams in the league, I mean, Minnesota proved that they were fraud last year. I mean, the Giants are, I mean, in your guys' own division, Cowboys are, they're chokers. They have Dak at quarterback. The Giants, I mean, the Giants could be something, but I mean, who knows? I mean, they have a young roster that might be good. But, and then the Commanders are, I'm not a Commanders believer. I think the NFC South is going to be just like it was last year. I think it's going to be like, I think if a team pulls out of like among the others, I think it would be the Saints. But otherwise, it might just be what it was last year, which is just like
The worst.
the best of the worst. Yeah. The best of the worst is going to make the playoffs. I think the West is interesting because I'm not concerned about the Cardinals. I think the Cardinals are.
Oh, of course.
Kyler Murray?
But I think the Rams could be okay if they can like if Stafford's healthy and if they can like pull their stuff together. Because Sean McVay is a good coach. Obviously the Niners are good. Obviously I'm pulling for Seattle, but I actually think, aside from my bias, I actually do think Seattle has a good shot at the playoffs and to be at least something next year. But the North is, I mean, the Packers go through new quarterback stuff. I'm not sold on them. The Vikings, obviously, they're the Vikings. I think the one team in that division that actually might like surprise people is the Lions. Although at this point, I'm not sure it'll be a surprise because everyone keeps saying that they're going to survive it. But
they're the first.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I can see why they're the popular sleeper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But
last year they'll probably improve a little bit, but nobody's like scared of the Lions. They're like, oh yeah, the Lions, yeah, they're all right, but nobody's scared of them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I know quite a few Lions fans, and I know they were pissed at Seattle last year because we took away their chance at making the playoffs. But I do think the Lions have a decent shot at the playoffs because, I mean, kind of like we've been going through. I'm not sure who else in the NFC is really gonna. I mean, if you have a decent roster, then you have a good shot at a wild card, at least.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. And I mean, honestly, I don't even think the 49ers are going to be crazy this year. Like, I don't know, maybe that's a hot take, but I just don't think they're gonna. I think it's gonna be like they'll maybe win the NFC West, but like not do anything crazy. You know what I mean? Like, I could see the Seahawks winning the NFC West, you know? Like, I could totally see that. I don't think the 49ers are, like, should be at the same level that the Eagles are regarded as in the NFC. And, yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. But, Cole, what's, I guess, who do you think is going to come out of the NFC since we're talking NFC football right now? Who do you think is going to come out? And then who's, like, a sleeper NFC team that you think is going to do pretty well?
I think as good as the Eagles are, which I am an Eagles hater, but I can step back and be objective. As good as the Eagles are, I do think it's the Niners.
All right, that's episode 15, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are out of time. Thanks, Cole, for joining us. Really appreciate it. Yeah, it was great having you on right up until then.